Today, we're exploring the ancient wonders of none other than Rome. Rome is like a giant history book, telling the story of one of the most incredible civilizations to have ever existed. It all started as a city-state, but Rome grew into this massive empire that had a huge impact on the entire Western world. Back when it was at its strongest, Roman society was incredibly advanced. They had this complex social and political setup that even borrowed some ideas from Greek democracy. The Romans were all over Western Europe, spreading their way of life to the places they conquered. Nowadays, you can take a trip back in time and learn all about how the ancient Romans lived. Some of their monuments are still standing tall, like the famous Coliseum and the Appian Way. Sadly, only about 10% of ancient Rome is still around today. A lot of it got knocked down over time, and what's left is mostly just ruins. But don't worry, there are still some incredible examples of Roman architecture you can check out in Rome, and I'll be going into 6 of them in this video. 6. The Park of the Aqueducts. The Park of the Aqueducts showcases Rome's clever water system. Fresh water was essential for Rome, used for drinking, farming, and baths. Aqueducts, like long channels and tunnels, carried water from faraway springs, spanning over 400 miles. These aqueducts, designed to keep water clean, used gravity to move it and avoided getting dirty. Some tunnels built through hills are still used today. Where needed, water flowed above ground, held up by tall arches. To stay strong, engineers piled arches, sometimes in layers, to support the aqueducts. Waterproof cement kept them secure when crossing rivers. Regular upkeep kept the system working. In Rome, the water was stored in 3 big tanks. One tank supplied the public, another the baths, and the last one homes, but people had to pay for it. The aqueducts were vital for Rome's survival. When some were broken by invaders, Rome's population fell a lot, but the remains of these smart structures still stand, showing how Rome got its water long ago. 5. The Baths of Caraca. Built by Emperor Caraca, this was the most luxurious spa complex in ancient Rome. Started by his father, Emperor Septimius Severus, around 206 AD, Caraca finished them by 216 AD. Originally called the Antonian Baths, they later became known as the Baths of Caraca. Among Rome's 900 public baths, none matched the grandeur of this one. It covered 33 acres and could host 1,600 bathers at once. It had libraries, meeting rooms, gardens, a temple, and shops. Elaborate mosaics, statues, and sculptures decorated it. The central area, over 30,000 square feet, had cold, tepid, and hot baths, gyms, and a swimming pool. To heat it, 50 furnaces burned 2,000 tons of wood. Terracotta pipes provided hot and cold water and heated the rooms. Over 15,000 workers, including bricklayers and decorators, built it on a 20-foot platform. The water came from the Marcian Aqueduct. Caraca spared no expense, but he didn't enjoy it long. He was assassinated a year after opening the baths. They remained open for 300 years until the Ostrogoths destroyed them in the 6th century. After that, they fell into disrepair, and their materials were used for other buildings. Some sculptures ended up in museums. The Baths of Caraca inspired architects like Donato Bramante and even influenced the design of Penn Station in New York City in 1910. In the summer, concerts are sometimes held among the ruins. 4. Via Appia. The ancient Appian Way, or Via Appia, was Rome's first major road, built around 212 BC during the Samnite Wars. Named after the Roman censor Appius Claudius Caecus, it connected Rome to Apulia and served as a vital military route. Before the Via Appiae, roads were basic paths unreliable for transportation. But within 200 years of its construction, Rome had a network of over 200,000 miles of roads, expanding at an incredible pace. Roman engineers used innovative surveying techniques like rods and gromo to create straight roads. When faced with obstacles, they made sharp turns instead of bends. These roads were incredibly durable. with layers of sand, stones, gravel, mortar, and interlocking stones providing a strong, sturdy surface. Mile marker stones, showing the distance to the next town, were placid along the way. The ancient Appian Way is nicknamed the Queen of Roads and is still in remarkable condition today. You can visit the Appian Way at the Appia Antica Regional Park, especially on Sundays when it's closed to traffic and is less busy. Take a bus to the park and explore the nearby cafes and catacombs for a historical adventure. 3. Circus Maximus. Built in the 6th century by King Tarquinius Priscus, Circus Maximus was once for chariot races. Now, it's a park where concerts sometimes happen. Emperor Trajan ordered its rebuilding in the early 2nd century AD. The old wooden stadium, prone to fires, was replaced with a sturdy stone and concrete one. It was meant to last 500 years and be the biggest stadium ever, inspiring stadiums today. Besides races, it had shops and places to eat. It was huge, over 2,000 feet long, nearly 400 feet wide, and 100 feet tall. It could hold up to 350,000 people on its 4 levels. Besides races, they also had fights with gladiators and animals, but it was most famous for its chariot races. In a race, 12 chariots raced around a barrier in the middle called a spina, 7 times. The spina had a big obelisk from Egypt's pharaoh Ramses II in the middle. It was dangerous, with over 50 deaths each year, but winning made charioteers famous. The last race was in 549 AD, almost 1,000 years after the first. It's great to visit Circus Maximus, along with Palatine Hill, the Roman Forum, and the Coliseum since they're close by. Circus Maximus is open in the summer, and it's free to go in. 2. Pantheon. The Pantheon, an ancient temple dedicated to all gods, is one of Rome's most remarkable architectural achievements. While its original purpose remains a mystery, it has stood the test of time for over 2,000 years. Emperor Hadrian oversaw the construction of the current Pantheon, which is actually the third to stand on this site. The first was built by Marcus Agrippa in 27 BC but was destroyed by fire. The second, built by Emperor Domitian, suffered the same fate. As you approach the Pantheon, you'll pass through its grand portico supported by 16 giant columns imported from Egypt. Inside, you'll find a perfect circular space, 142 feet in diameter, topped by a magnificent dome. The dome itself is a marvel of engineering. Twice the size of any previous dome, it's 142 feet across and made without reinforced concrete. At its center is a 33-foot wide opening called the oculus, which not only allows light to enter but also reduces the dome's weight. To support such a massive structure, the base of the dome is 21 feet thick, gradually reducing to 4 feet thick around the oculus. 5 rings of decorative panels inside the dome help reduce its weight while adding to its beauty. The materials used in the construction varied, with heavier materials at the base and lighter ones towards the top. This careful selection prevented unnecessary stress on the structure. The Pantheon's design has inspired architects for centuries, including Brunelleschi and Michelangelo. Its influence can be seen in buildings around the world. Today, the Pantheon remains open to visitors, offering a glimpse into ancient Rome's architectural genius. Remember to book tickets in advance, especially on Saturdays and holidays, and dress modestly, as it also serves as a church. Coliseum. The Colosseum is like a giant time machine that takes us back to ancient Rome, where big shows and games happened in front of huge crowds. They started building it in 72 AD, when Emperor Vespasian was in charge. It wasn't just a regular stadium. It was a big gift to the people of Rome, a way to take back land from Emperor Nero's fancy palace, and a symbol of Roman strength. At first, they called it the Flavius Amphitheater, after Vespasian's family. Later on, people started calling it the Colosseum because of a huge statue of Nero nearby. It was really smartly made, using new ideas like arches and special concrete. Just picture 80,000 people coming in through 75 doors, all thanks to how it was built. The walls were made of strong Roman concrete, which was made from volcanic ash and lime. The stone walls were put together without any glue, but with strong metal pieces. The Colosseum wasn't just big, it was all about fun. Gladiators fought, Wild animals roared, and there were even fake sea battles. Underneath, there were secret passages where they could move things around without anyone seeing. When Emperor Titus opened it, they had 100 days of big shows to celebrate. It became the main spot for entertainment in Rome. Today, millions of people come to see it every year, amazed by its history, how it was built, and all the excitement that happened there long ago. If you want to visit the Coliseum, you should know that it's open to visitors every day from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., regardless of the season. The closing hours might change, so it's best to double-check before heading there. Nighttime visits are less crowded, so you might want to schedule for then. And to skip long queues, I'd recommend buying a city pass or skip the line tickets in advance. I hope you found this video interesting and got some inspiration for places to visit the next time you're in Rome. If so, I'd really appreciate if you like and subscribe for more videos like this.